Hello, everyone. My name is Anita Sifford, and today I will be talking about the situational analysis for Group 8, Peru. So, of course, the country we're given to focus on was Peru, and the multinational corporation we ended up going with is Kimberly-Clark. Now, Kimberly-Clark Peru manufactures and markets personal care, consumer tissues, and professional products worldwide. So they're really known for products like Cottonelle and Suave. Kimberly-Clark does all of that. The company was incorporated in 1992 and is based in Lima, Peru. And today I will be talking about the situational analysis and a little bit more information about how the company is functioning in Kimberly-Clark, Peru. Let's get started. So the problem. So Peru has a huge problem with access to safe water and standard sanitation services in the country. According to water.org, almost 8 million people in the country lack access to either safe water and or sanitation services in Peru. So, to combat this, Kimberly-Clark Peru created their campaign, Toilets Change Lives campaign in 2016. And the goal of the campaign is to improve the water conditions and the sanitation conditions in Peru and to help people, especially Peruvians living in this country, live a better clean life with safe water and good sanitation. Next, let's discuss some internal factors the company may go through. So Kimberly-Clark started in 1995 when the corporation bought the family-owned company Unicel. And then in 1998, through an acquisition, they took control of Mimo SA. And then 2 years later, Mimo SA merged into Suave toilet paper. And then in turn, they took control of Suave. The turnover was approximately $100 million. So then in 2008, they integrated the Santa Clara plant and the corporation began planting roots in Peru. So now the Toilet Change Lives campaign really speaks to the mission and vision of the corporation as a whole. And the mission that Kimberly-Clark Peru has is to improve the well-being, hygiene, and health of everyone in Peru. And the vision of the corporation is to guide the world in essentials for better life. And through this campaign, Toilet Change Lives campaign, that is exactly what the corporation Kimberly-Clark Peru is doing or attempting to do in Peru. And that is to improve the life of many Peruvians living in this country. Now, the way they do this is basically through initiatives and programs to give access to cleaner water and sanitations to the people that may not otherwise have access to these things. So that was a little bit of internal factors or internal information that you may want or need to know about the corporation. Now let's get into some of the external factors, which might be a bit interesting. So in 2015, in 2015, Kimberly-Clark was sanctioned by Peru. So allegedly, the company was sanctioned because they were conspiring with a competitor to set prices on toilet paper and other products. Now this made the company look really, really bad because Peru is already a country that needs more access to toilet paper and other sanitation products for the people. So the fact that it came out that the companies was setting higher prices and many people living in the country weren't able to buy these products because they were doing this with competitors really did not paint the country in the best of light. This happened in 2015. So in 2016, the company, Kimberly-Clark Peru, launched the Toilet Change Lives campaign. And through partnerships, their goal was to not only improve their image, but to provide better water and sanitation services. This is the same people that probably benefit, that probably, lost out because of what they were doing, conspiring to do. So not only is this campaign a campaign to improve a lot of Peruvians' lives, but it was a huge campaign to also improve the public image of Kimberly-Clark, Peru. And that's exactly what happened. In 2017, right after the campaign launched, so 2 years after the big scandal, and 1 year after the campaign, Kimberly-Clark Peru was ranked 6th place in the best corporation reputation in Peru. So in a sense, this campaign really, really helped to fix their image in Peru. And I think that was another thing that the company was looking for, and they got, most definitely. So that was a little bit information about the external factors. Now we're going to talk about the Hofstede's cultural dimensions. Alrighty, so let's look here. So it looks like Peru scored a 67 in power distance. Now this means that there is a large structural and centralized power distance in the country. Next, the country scored 16 in individualism. Now, this just means that Peru is a collective society. Next, the country scored a 42 in masculinity. Now, this means that the country values security over autonomy. It also means that the country is pushed by competition and success. Excuse me. Next, the country scored a total of 87 in uncertainty avoidance, and that just means that they demonstrate a strong need for rules and a good legal system. Next, the country scored a total of 25 in long-term orientation. That means the people in Peru have a normative way of thinking. And lastly, they scored a 46 in indulgence. Now, this just means that Peruvians are more likely to indulge in their desires and wants. So if they want it, they go get it. Now let's get into the corruption perception index. Now, the company scored a 37 out of 100 in this index, and that just means that they exhibit a higher level of corruption. Now, this is around the mean that the country is known to. This scores around the mean that the country is known to have. This was in 2017, and 2016 they scored a 35. The year before there it was a 36. So the country is known to score around 34 to 38 in corruption perceptions in the corruption perception index. So in 2017, we went a little bit up, and that makes sense, with the whole scam. It's not as big as it was in 2014. I think that has to deal with the government willing to kind of clear out and remove a lot of the corruption that's going on in the country. And what's clear to see is that Kimberly-Clark, in a sense, in 2015, they contributed to the corruption. However, that was in 2015 when the big scandal. In 2017, you can say that they helped clean up their image along with the country's image by providing safe water, sanitation, and in a sense, working to limit the corruption index in that country. All right, current events. So in this year, so in August of 2018, Peru declared a 60-day health emergency. The government declared this. The country cited imminent danger to health and sanitations. So there was a huge crisis and outbreak when people realized the population's increasing. A lot of Venezuelans are coming into the country, yet there is no clean water. There is a lack of clean water and sanitation service. So the country was dealing with a lot, so they issued this state of emergency. And so as of right now, Peru is working to improve this major problem that the country is facing. And this campaign is helping them do this. The goal of this campaign is to aid in this crisis. And through relief programs, Kimberly-Clark Peru's goal is to help the country have safe and better water and sanitation services. So this issue is still ongoing. Even in 2018, this campaign is still alive and is making huge strides in this issue. I can't wait to see how this campaign ends or where this campaign goes further in the near future.
Hello, my name is Naomi Cruz, and I will be speaking on the primary publics and audiences, as well as the approaches taken to reach target audience. Now, the primary public for the Toilets Change Lives campaign are the citizens of Peru, especially those that believe there is a need for better water, sanitation, and hygiene in rural communities in Peru. Also, those that want to make a difference in Peru and make the dreams of people in rural villages come true. That is why Kimberly-Clark uses localized advertisements, reaching out to Peruvians to help out the people within their own country and those that live in rural places that don't have access to clean sanitation, water, and a toilet. Here in this picture, you can see that they have the Suave brand, and then it says, Yo estoy ayudando a cambiar la realidad de muchos peruanos. Obviously, since it's in Peru, most the main language is Spanish, so most of their advertisements will be in Spanish. If you translate that to English, it says, I am helping to change the reality of many Peruvians. So it adds to the idea that they're all a country together, and it adds to their sense of pride of nationalization for being Peruvian. And it alludes to people that want to help those that are in these rural villages that don't have a chance to have the same sanitation services that those in better off areas do have. Now, the secondary public are the members of the rural community that has been impacted by the campaign. So those in those rural villages that are getting new toilets installed and in their homes and in their schools. As well, Kimberly-Clark has to reach out to the schools that have implemented a curriculum to teach proper hygiene. Kimberly-Clark and their partner organization, Water for People, need to reach out to these schools and make sure that they also believe that it's important to teach children and their family how important it is to keep proper hygiene, even if they get new toilets in their community. As well as consumers of Totus and Plaza Vea supermarkets. They're the people that already go to these supermarkets, probably buy generic brand or other brand toilet paper. But once they go to those markets and they see the display saying that buying from this brand specifically will help with bettering the sanitation problem that Peru has in these rural villages, people that go to those stores will end up buying this product and may switch from buying a generic brand to this Suave brand in order to help out the people in their country. Now, some approaches taken to reach target audience. If you go on the Facebook page, the Suave Peru page, they have several videos on the families that are being impacted by having toilets, clean sanitation, and water in their community. Right here it says, Camila cumplió su sueño de tener un baño digno y hoy te lo agradece. In English, that is, Camila fulfilled her dream of having a decent bathroom and today she thanks you. Suave made sure to always thank the people for buying these products and make sure that they know who they're helping and displaying that through videos, through actual images of the communities, the bathrooms that they previously had, and the families and their gratitude towards the service that Kimberly-Clark is doing in this community. Now, in order to reach people that care, about the communities, they want to reach out to moms because in Peru, everybody is very family oriented, and the decisions that are best made for the entire family is what win. Sometimes women tend to be the decision makers in the household, especially when it comes to buying sanitary products and household products in their home. So Kimberly-Clark reached out to these blogger moms. This website is called laespatulaverde.com, and they made an article calling out all other blogger moms to buy these products to help the people in the community and to think about what these families have to go through. Sometimes these women and their children, they're the most vulnerable because they have to walk sometimes several miles out to the middle of nowhere in a hole in the ground to use the restroom, and that puts them in danger of creatures around the area, some animals that may attack or bite, as well as sometimes, unfortunately, rape and attack from other people within the community. One of the ambassadors that Kimberly-Clark used was Mari Carmen Marin. She's a Peruvian actor and singer. And here you can see on the left-hand side that is a post from her Facebook page. And she is calling out all her followers to go to Totu's supermarket in order to buy these products and further help the people in the community. Mari Carmen Marin was one of the greatest ambassadors for this programs because she went out to the community to see what these people are going through. She filmed it and she shared it with her Facebook followers. So she was able to get a lot of people on board to go out to the supermarket and buy these products. As well, here on the right hand side, you can see that she attended one of the events that Suave put on with Water for People, the partner organization, and here she's being very thankful that this organization has made her an ambassador for a program that's helping out her community so much. And she again continues to call out for those people to help out. Here you can see the Baños Cambian Vidas is one of the hashtags that they used, as well as Más Higiene para Todos. That means more hygiene for everyone. And they're both very positive hashtags. They keep on bringing back to the fact that everyone deserves good hygiene and proper hygiene, and it's a right for everybody, especially in Peru. And then the Baños Cambia Vidas is a translation of toilet change lives in Spanish. Here you can see the Suave, yo estoy ayudando a cambiar la realidad de muchos peruanos, which is what I had previously showed in one of the other slides, meaning that I'm helping change the reality of many Peruvians. And at this event that they had in one of the supermarkets, they had set this up so that people could take pictures in front of it and picture with a small toilet. And basically they wanted people to go into the store, see this, and be curious about it, find out about the campaign, and then further share the campaign within the social media platform, which is one of the other ways to reach to their target audience. Those that buy at Total Supermarket and are already know about that campaign and are passionate about the campaign can share it with their followers and further spread the word. Right here it says corre la voz, which means spread the word. And then here's some supermarket goers that came across this event and were able to buy these products and support the cause. Here, the organization Water for People, along with Kimberly-Clark, were demonstrating to supermarket goers how many miles some of these children and families have to walk to in order to just use the toilet. Sometimes you have to in the middle of the night, and it can be dangerous. So this was a concrete visualization of what some of these families have to go to. And that was one of the ways that they reached the target audience. They reached out to the feelings and emotions of the people in order to have them help. Now, when it comes to stakeholders, this was one of the 2018 campaign kickoff at Plaza Vea Supermarket. And the organizers of the event, the people that are involved with Water for People and Kimberly-Clark that run these programs, they went ahead and put this event. They talked about it. They talked about the change that it has made in these communities, how grateful they are. They showcased videos. They answered questions that anyone in the audience would have about the organization, about their campaign, and the positive changes that they're making in the community, how long they are going to be running this campaign for, and so on and so forth. So it was meant to introduce to the stakeholders the campaign and accomplishments made and the impact it had in the community. And then those stakeholders were then able to make a decision and contribute to this organization and to this campaign. Thank you, and that is my presentation on the audience, the target audiences and publics, as well as the methods they use to reach the audience. And now I will pass it on to the next slide.
Hello, my name is Victoria Salomon and I am the team member in charge of discussing the overview of the campaign with you. Now, a campaign will be very hard to analyze without a context. That's why the overview of the campaign is here, to help you contextualize the campaign in the time and work frame of the host country that we have chosen. In this case, that's Peru. Therefore, in this section, we will be looking into critical aspects of the planning and evaluation of the campaign. All of this to obtain a better understanding or grasp of the challenges and achievements of the campaign within the Peruvian territory. Now, the overview of the campaign will analyze several themes and topics, but it will mostly focus on 5 elements: the campaign theme and tagline, the key supporting messages and goals of the campaign, the strategies, tactics, and budget of the campaign, a timetable, very brief, and lastly, an evaluation effort analysis. With no more to say in this summary, let's jump right into the campaign theme and tagline. The campaign theme and tagline section will be focusing on the origin and purpose of the campaign. On November 19 of 2015, Kimberly-Clark announced on International Toilet Day its commitment to more social programs. Now, given the multinational nature of this huge corporation, it only makes sense that Kimberly-Clark wouldn't want to help a specific group of people in a specific country, but that they would rather want to create initiatives to help people from all over the world. With this intention in mind, they created the multinational organization known as the Toilet Coalition Board. And shortly after, on November 19 of 2015, they created a public relations campaign with the tagline, "Toilets Change Lives." The campaign aims to bring funds and educate people from all over the world about sanitation and its related issues. It does so by targeting current customers and employees to connect with new consumer demographics that often don't have access to sanitation in the first place. The way the Kimberly-Clark Corporation does this in an organic manner is by using some of the brands under its umbrella that are already related to sanitation. For example, it would use local brands of toilet paper in a specific country to relate to the topic of sanitation in a more natural way. Now let's jump into the key supporting messages and goals. The key supporting messages and goals section will mostly focus on the underlying objective themes of the campaign, meaning really the heart of the campaign. The overall message and theme of this campaign is that basic sanitation should be a human right, given that it's so intimately related to human dignity, and that in today's world and with today's communicational tools, we can, with human collaboration, help bring that right to everyone in the world. The Kimberly-Clark Corporation takes into account that wealth is not equally distributed around us, and that there are certain groups that are more intimately affected by sanitation issues than others. It has therefore determined that 3 groups are the more affected by sanitation issues. Two of these groups are women and girls, who can miss daily activities such as educational opportunities like school, or women who can even lose work because they cannot access menstrual hygiene products. Another very important group is children, who can suffer and even die from contagious diseases that nourish the spread of those diseases itself because of the lack of water sanitation around the world. Obviously, there's other groups that Kimberly-Clark has helped with its sanitation initiatives and with the Toilet Change Lives campaign, but these are the three groups that they're focusing on helping. Now, helping can sound as a very ambiguous term. However, the Kimberly-Clark Corporation has given us some guidelines to understand what they mean by help. Basically, they've given us some definitions to understand that by help, they mean to provide funds and educational opportunities about the importance of sanitation. Sanitation is often taken for granted in countries with more development. However, in some regions of countries with less economic resources, sanitation is not really a thing that's understood as a priority. Now let's jump right into the strategies and tactics that Kimberly-Clark has used to make populations understand why sanitation should be a priority. In the strategies, tactics, and budget section, we will be focusing on discussing the execution techniques for this campaign, but we'll also look into the financial aspect, meaning the budget behind the campaign. According to a press release done by Kimberly-Clark on also November 19 of 2015, the campaign would have as a goal to initially touch only 3 countries and to use a variety of partner brands to extend this reach. So as I said before, it would use brands under their Kimberly-Clark umbrella to organically send a message about the importance of sanitation. However, this campaign actually grew a lot faster than the Kimberly-Clark Corporation thought it would. So a year after the initial campaign, they had to add 12 countries to the initial social program. Therefore, it is now helping 15 different countries for 4 different regions all around the world. And they didn't just have to change its goals, they also had to change the strategies and tactics behind the campaign to actually accommodate for all the new contributors and people that will be, in presence of the campaign itself. Kimberly-Clark currently uses a series of visual and audiovisual strategies to generate awareness for the program and for the campaign itself. These visual and audiovisual strategies are infographics, images, short promotional videos, and testimonies. Additionally, the Kimberly-Clark organization has also utilized social media as a public relations strategy to promote the program by creating different hashtags for consumers to participate in international and global dialogue, and by letting program aiders utilize this tool to increase the reach and presence of the program around the world. Additionally, the Toilet Change Lives program has a very strong online presence that they've created by establishing regionalized accounts in all major social medias, as well as one for the global social program. They've also worked in cooperation with local brands as well as local governments to create events and educational opportunities for people in rural areas that are mostly affected by sanitation. When it comes to the budget, it was initially determined by Kimberly-Clark that allocating the amount of 2% of its net income in 2015 will work for the establishing funds necessary for the campaign, which were valuated at an approximate account for $38.5 million. However, as I explained before, after the initial year of the campaign, they actually realized that they were able to help a lot more people with this amount of funds, for which they decided not to use the net income evaluated for the year of 2015 as their base year, but to rather use the quantity of 2% of their net income for all the years above. Now, a brief timetable for this campaign. As I said before, the date of 19th of November of 2015 is the key date, given that it's the start of the Toilets Change Life campaign. However, another very important date will be November of 2016, which is when the Kimberly-Clark Corporation realized that they wanted to extend this program not just for 3 countries, but for 15 countries in 4 different regions of the world. Lastly, we'll be going into the evaluation and stewardship efforts of the company. In this section, we will be discussing the resources used by Kimberly-Clark to evaluate the campaign, as well as the key numbers obtained from those evaluations. So Kimberly-Clark has made this campaign a collaborative effort, which is basically what has guaranteed the success of the campaign. They work with local governments, NGOs such as the UNICEF, and non-profit organizations such as Water for the People. Working with these different organizations, they've been able to obtain different types of help, not just monetary, but also help when it comes to policy and in terms of working with the government, also help for obtaining the data behind the specific reasons that they needed to target in order to help these rural regions. In such terms, the local governments provided them with help through surveying and census, so they could really understand the needs of the people within the region. Now, from this self-evaluation, Kimberly-Clark Peru has been able to help 500,000 people. And with its rapid growth, it's actually been able to help 900,000 people within the region, so not just in Peru. It is determined that 40% of the rural population of Peru doesn't really have access to sanitation, so this is a very big challenge. They will focus on the region of Trujillo, which is one of the most affected by the lack of sanitation, and they will continue to work in the next 5 years in that region. The program has also hosted fundraising events in rural areas, as I explained before, and this has really changed the way people see the problem of sanitation. But of course, this is just a message that floats in the air without data behind it. So they've used the UNICEF and they use Water for the People to really monitor how the perception of people regarding sanitation in those rural regions has changed. And by providing education, they've also managed to create new jobs. And this has been measured, as I mentioned before, with the help of local governments. Well, that's it for my part. Thank you so much for listening today.
Hello, it's Victoria Salomon here. I was previously with you discussing the overview of the campaign. However, now I'm here to discuss the communicational tools used by Kimberly-Clark in the section of implementation. Kimberly-Clark used a variety of communicational tools to raise awareness about the campaign to their targeted audiences. For each medium, visual content has been adapted for success, so there are slight differences between campaigns found on websites, mostly optimized for computer use, and those designated to appear on mobile devices. Some of the communicational tools Kimberly-Clark used to build a presence for the campaign were web pages, social media, press releases, and broadcasting, as well as events. First, let's look into web pages. On its Peruvian website, Kimberly-Clark provides information on the social responsibility efforts and leads to a specific product such as Suave, which is one of the brands that they use to fund resources for the charitable organization paired up with the campaign, as well as the Toilet Coalition Board, which does direct work related to the Toilet Change Lives campaign. On social media, Kimberly-Clark has implemented a campaign with the use of hashtags, using Baños Cambian Vidas, which is the slogan of the campaign in Spanish for people and brands under the Kimberly-Clark umbrella. They use this hashtag to share their charitable efforts and to participate in the dialogue of the issues sanitation can bring. The campaign has a strong presence on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, but it can be more easily found using location filters using the region of Trujillo, where Kimberly-Clark has made most of its charitable effort in Peru. Moving on to events. As aforementioned, Kimberly-Clark has been brilliant because it has created most of its public relations effort not under its corporate name, but under the name of its products that are already related to sanitation, making the intention behind the campaign seem very natural and organic. However, this strategy moves beyond social media. Kimberly-Clark, along with its partner organizations, Plaza Vea Supermarket and Water for the People, ran an event kickoff at Plaza Vea Supermarket, which is a local supermarket in Peru, on October of 2018. This event promoted the launch of the campaign for 2018 and involved stakeholders and organizers. Since the event was at the supermarket, shoppers were able to learn more about the products that people buy to help the campaign, as well as to take pictures with different props and spread the word on the campaign itself. The event also used a treadmill to demonstrate in real life to the attendees the amount of miles that some families and kids need to travel just to reach a hole in the ground to use as its toilet. Basically, it demonstrated to people that actually do have access to sanitation how sometimes they can take that privilege for granted, and it really showed them why it is a crucial necessity for other people to collaborate to actually bring the right to sanitation to others. Now moving to broadcasting. Different brands under the Kimberly-Clark umbrella, such as Scott and Suave toilet paper, posted on their official websites, social media, as well as their official YouTube accounts, a variety of audiovisual content reporting on their achievements through the campaign and highlighting the campaign's objective itself. Additionally, television networks and channels have sent reporters and writers to all of the events that we mentioned before, giving them the opportunity to highlight the objectives of the campaign as well. Lastly, as I mentioned, there's also been press releases that have been sent obviously to the press and that help put out the word about the campaign and establish its presence on local media in Peru.
If you look at the environmental factors in Peru, you'll realize that they have a traditional worldview with a strong emphasis on family and ethnic/group affiliation. This is why the campaign always appealed to that strong desire to connect to the Peruvian community and that pride that people had about being Peruvian. They also made a strong emphasis on including family decisions. That is because decisions are made in the best interest of the family or group, which means that people were trying to make the best decision for their country, Peru, and that includes making decisions that would help people in these rural communities. It was also very important to reach out to mom bloggers because moms often made the emotional decisions in the households, so that would impact whether a family would buy these products or not. And then also, the campaign always called for empathy. It always asked for people to put themselves in the shoes of these families. They would paint pictures of the families needing to walk so many miles just to use the restroom. And sometimes, if you think about it, small children that need to use restrooms in the middle of the night, it can be very dangerous for a little girl to go out at 2 in the morning, walk a couple miles by herself, and expose herself to a risk of contracting any disease, running into animals, or even putting herself at risk from abuse. Now, Peru is also a high context culture. It is more implicit than it is explicit. If you look at the videos posted on the Suave Peru Facebook page, you'll see that the advertisement included many pictures of the bathrooms that they had to use before it got remodeled. Often it would be a small hole on the ground, very far away in a dangerous place. It was very important for them to speak positively on the changes that Kimberly-Clark and Suave were making in these communities, as opposed to explaining all the risks that they would go through.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm doing the circular culture portion of the implementation. So representation can be found throughout the entire campaign. And all the images that you've seen in the campaign, children are one of the main focal points. And this represents the idea that children are the future. And this kind of goes within the primary goal of the campaign, which is to further communities' access to safe water and sanitation services. And this is a really big, important overall, this theory of how sanitation can influence how people succeed in life. So once you move from representation, we go to the consumption stage of the circuit of culture. And in Peru, children are seen as a symbol of future and change. And the audience can decode that this Kimberly-Clark campaign goes along with the Peruvian culture of children, and how they intertwine together and how they really want change and to succeed. So we move from the consumption to the identity, and the identity behind this campaign is the consumers. That the people of Peru who come from these vast ranges and backgrounds can all agree on one thing, which is that they want the creation of safe and reliable water and sanitation and hygiene. So, in addition to the Peruvian people, government and NGOs such as Water.org and Kimberly-Clark have created this partnership and wanting to bring this awareness to the people of Peru.
Hello everyone, my name's Anita. It's me again. And earlier in this presentation, I discussed with you all the situational analysis for the Kimberly-Clark Toilets Change Lives campaign in 2016. Now, since you guys heard more about the campaign, its goals, and what it actually did in Peru, we're going to evaluate the campaign. So we're going to try to answer questions like, did it do its job? Was it received negatively or positively by the Peruvian people? And what could Kimberly-Clark Peru done better? Could they have done more background research? Could they have implemented this better? Could they have made that known better? All of these questions we're going to answer right now. Alrighty. So, there was a lot of reactions for the campaign, and I'm happy to say that this campaign was received really well by not only people living in Peru, the Peruvian people, but also globally, worldwide. UNICEF awarded Kimberly-Clark Peru the 2018 Children First Award. This award was given to the corporation based on how they implemented the Toilet Change Lives campaign in Peru. Now, it's important to note that Peru's lack of water and sanitation services isn't something that is going to be fixed overnight. The company, Kimberly-Clark Peru, what they had to do is not only give people clean, safe water who needed it the most right now, but through time and effort, they also had to figure out why these people didn't have clean water or good sanitation services. Was it the water source? Was it pollution? Was it the trash? And what was causing this? And actually fix it that as well. It was more than just giving people water and toilet paper. It's actually going into the roots of the problem, Peru as a whole, and trying to work our way around it and fix it in the core. So because of this, UNICEF awarded Kimberly-Clark Peru this award, because not only does this take a lot of time and effort, but Peruvians needed to trust that Kimberly-Clark Peru would, come through and help them. And at this point, it's safe to say that they did. So again, generally, the campaign was positive. People viewed it more on the positive side. So that's, again, is really good. And this campaign also went a long way in the recovery effort in many areas in need. So different areas had different needs. What the campaign did is they went to the areas that were extremely in need and needed water at the moment, was really in danger, and they work there first. They made sure that people got what they needed first, and then they worked their way out. And it's important to note that Kimberly-Clark was able to accomplish all of this through partnerships with other corporations, and I will get into that later. Alrighty, so some critiques and recommendations of the campaign, because every campaign can do better, so we do have some critiques for it. So Kimberly-Clark branded itself as an initiative that took products directly into the homes and the communities of the people. And while they did that, they did take the products and whatever the people needed to their homes, to their communities, majority of the time what the campaign did was it assisted and provided expertise to the already existing Peruvian sanitation companies. So although they did go into the people's homes and communities, supply them with clean, safe water and sanitation, and work with these communities leaders to fix the root of the problem, majority of it was them going to already established Peruvian sanitation companies and working with them to get the issue fixed. However, that wasn't really expressed in the campaign, and it's something that we should know. You didn't go to everyone's homes and communities to help out with this. You didn't do that. You did it sometimes, but you really went to these sanitation companies and tried to assist them majority of the time. So that's some of the critiques we had, because the way it was branded in the media was that Kimberly-Clark Peru went knocking on everyone's door, giving them toilet papers, waters, looking at their wells and water systems to help fix the problem. And granted, they did do that, but a bulk of it was going to already established companies and helping them help the people. Another critique we have for the campaign is that the Toilet Change Lives campaign should have had more of a focus on how Kimberly-Clark was working with companies in Peru and the Peruvian company, or I should say government. So when you look at this campaign, you have an idea that Kimberly-Clark is doing it by themselves. They're going into Peru, they're making these strides, and they're accomplishing all these great goals. And granted, they are, but they're not doing it alone. It is through partnerships. It is through working with the Peruvian government that their efforts were able to succeed, but their efforts weren't made alone. So it's something that is important to note in this campaign. Alrighty, now I'm going to turn it over to Megan to do the conclusion.
Hi everyone, I'm back with the conclusion. After the 2015 conspiracy sanction levied by the government for price setting, Kimberly-Clark was in need of a campaign to fix their tarnished image in Peru. The loss of the trust in the company in Peru was so large that many believed that they would never be able to recover. And the answer for Kimberly-Clark was to create an initiative to help improve the lives of Peruvian citizens. In Peru, where 40% of the rural population do not have access to basic sanitation and 30% do not have access to water safe for consumption. This campaign provided a way for Kimberly-Clark to provide humanitarian aid that is potentially life-saving. Since this campaign has begun, this initiative, the Toilet Change Lives Initiative, it has expanded to 5 more countries and has helped more than 37,000 people in need gain access to improved and expand water and sanitation facilities. As it has expanded, Kimberly-Clark has created additional focuses tailored to the needs of each region. In Latin America, where Peru is located, they have combined its Toilet Change Lives campaign with social programs for female empowering. By creating these sanitation programs that specifically target menstrual products, local governments have joined Kimberly-Clark with its sanitation efforts by launching the Más Hygiene para Todos campaign, which in Spanish means more hygiene for everyone. The campaign is a leading education effort implemented on rural regions to change the perception of sanitation not as something that is a privilege, but rather as something that everyone deserves and that is essential for human dignity. The Toilets Change Lives campaign is an excellent example of how a company regained consumer trust and positive brand association by providing essential resources to communities. Since this campaign, Kimberly-Clark Peru was ranked in the 6th place in the ranking of best corporate reputation in Peru and first in the sector in 2017. Thank you guys so much for looking at our presentation about Kimberly-Clark and its Toilet Changes Lives campaign. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.